Come on, girl. It's 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm on my laptop giving it tea. Doom, 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 doom. I got a real juicy interview that came to me. Yes, so pull up, anticipating a good read. I won't keep you waiting. I got plans to spill this tea in places y'all never seen. Girl, you know what I mean. Child, yes, God, girl. First and foremost, please make sure to follow the social medias and things of that nature that you guys see before y'all. Shout out to the people that have been following the Twitter. That's the main thing I've been asking for people to follow because I have a goal around there. So anybody that has a Twitter, please make sure to follow the channel Twitter as well as the channel Instagram, as y'all always do, as well as the TikTok and Snapchat if you got it. My bad, girl. I'm still going over here off of this tequila child because, like I say, I got a 4-day weekend. You understand what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But look. Normally I say I'm up in here minding my business, but this time I was actually being nosy. And shout out to Really B. I was watching Really B, and she was talking about how Charmaine went round there to give a cease and desist letter to Toucan Sam and or whatever for her interview with Jessica Reid and or whatever. So y'all know I don't deal with Toucan around there, the Farcore Leghorn Studios. Y'all know I don't really fool with her like that unless it's something that's really interesting, which this was. Um Surprisingly, and she gave a really great interview. Although I give her a lot, I thoroughly enjoyed this video. I'm not gonna lie, I thoroughly enjoyed this interview. This had to been one of Tasha's best interviews, in my opinion, because I loved how she was able to engage with Jessica because they both shared similar experiences. So it didn't come off as this is just an interview. You get what I'm saying? They both laughed, they both cried, they both got serious, they both threw shade, you know what I'm saying? And I was down for the interview. So we just about to talk right on about it, girl, and y'all already know who this got to deal with. This is we talking about the chemical pill getting bitch, Charmaine, the goddess her damn self. Now listen, Charmaine, don't bring your fuck ass around here fucking with me, child. You done already sent out a cease and desist letter to try to stop Tasha from putting out this video, and you already know how Tasha goes, honey. Tasha not finna stop making her damn money simply because see, I can't say I can't call you what I want to call you because see, YouTube gonna get me. So I can't call you what I want to call you, but you know what I want to call your old Spanish flag giving out having ass. Anyway, we gonna get down to it, you nasty bitch. So at the beginning of all of this thing, Tasha reads out the affidavit from 2001, where Charmaine pleaded guilty to a lesser offense simply because Jessica wasn't there, I assume, to give her testimony, but her mama had a lot to do with why she wasn't there. Her mama derailed a lot of that stuff, and it just played into the generational curse of childhood trauma. We'll get there when we get there. So, Jessica opens up about her childhood, and one thing that was interesting about her childhood was how she talked about how she was molested by her godbrother when she was 5 years old. And she told her mom about it when she was 8. She said what made her tell her mom about it was because she was watching something on TV, and the same thing that the godbrother was asking her to do to him was being asked of a young girl on this movie to do, and it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't realize it was wrong until she saw that reenacted and being portrayed on that movie. And she talked about how she ran in the room and wrote her mom a letter, and she gave her mom the letter, and then she ran back in her room. And she talked about, how her mom cried with her and was like, she's sorry, she didn't know this happened to her, and so on and so forth. And things weren't done about it. And the guy's name, y'all up here doxing people. No God, but yes God. Bring all the nasty ass pedos up out of hand, honey. The nigga named Petey. All right. So if anybody around there, the South Kakalaka that knows her, whatever the case may be, and y'all know her god brother Petey, yeah, that's who it was. Now, I don't know if it was in South Kakalaka or whether it was in New York because she's from New York or whatever. But whether it was in Brooklyn or whether it was in South Kakalaka, anybody around there betwixt the two that knows Jessica Reid, yeah, Petey did it. Petey did it. Petey did it. Had your children, had your wives, had your husbands, had the dog, had anything with a hole in it, child, because Petey ass did it. So Tasha apologizing to Jessica's mom because apparently Tasha tried to reach out to Jessica years back. I assume when she first came out with this, when she did her interview with Star, I believe it was called or whatever. And the mama won't hear for Tasha. And I understand where the mom was coming from because be clear, Tasha, you do not have the best track record. And you are known for being a shock jock and just looking to break a story by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand where people are coming from as it pertains to that. You know what I mean? But I am glad that, Jessica talked about, we're going to get to it. Jessica talked about her dad. Her dad passed away in 91 from AIDS, honey. Y'all know AIDS was running rapid way back then. And no, he won't get in it from hunching around with none of the girls before y'all little straight heteros come up under the comments with y'all foolishness. Okay, that man was a heroin addict. And that's how he got it, being a heroin addict. And she talked about how she had to go from seeing her dad be this happy person to being sick every day, throwing up every day, coughing and doing this and doing that. And then, she talked about being at his funeral and being so young and then, not realizing that was the last time she was ever going to see her dad and stuff like that. Like, I like Jessica Reid a lot because, first of all, I believe her story. The type of emotion that this young lady pulled out, like she broke down several times throughout this interview. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, it was gut wrenching. It really was. It made you feel real horrible for this young woman. It really did. I felt horrible for her because I couldn't imagine growing up dealing with childhood trauma of that nature and then have to deal with the same thing again, but on a much brighter scale as a teenager. Like it was rough, y'all. It was rough. I'm not gonna lie, it was real rough. She talked about how she wished her mother was there more, about how her mom just swept everything up under the rug, did not follow through with the investigation, which is how Charmaine was able to plead to a lesser charge. But I believe he did every damn thing that girl said he did. That nasty bitch. Again, I say. That's probably why your skin trying to crawl off your damn face now, nigga. What goes around comes around. Nothing good comes to people like you. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, she talks about, how she, just didn't understand how, her family and things like that weren't there for her like that. But then she opened up with the generational curse. Talked about how that happened to her mom when she was young. And then it happened to her grandma. You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with traumas and it's like a generational thing, she now understands why her mom couldn't be emotionally there for her the way she felt like she should have been and the way that she should have been. And I understand it, y'all. I do. As much as you want to be mad at the mom, I mean, I want to be mad at the mama too, because how do you allow your daughter to go tooting off with a 23-year-old damn man when she's 15 years old? I don't give a damn if she was with the brother sister that was 18. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, she 18. That's cool. You 15. Your ass ain't going no damn where. Now get out of my room, bitch, and close my door for you get fucked up around here. See, that's the way we was raised as little girls. You understand what I'm saying? See, that's the way Big Mammy used to talk to us. You get it? Like, that's how we was raised. So I get Tasha and other people that may have felt the same way about the mom, putting it off on the mom because they felt like she could have been there more. But her dad died. So the mom had to be a mom and a dad. She now had to work. She had to work long shifts and long hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was no longer a two-parent household. You know, she was no longer the stay-at-home mom. Everything was left on her. So she could not be there to monitor everything 24/7, 365, the way our moms did when we was coming up. You know what I'm saying? Although some can argue that our mamas worked just as much as our daddies did and paid bills just like our daddy did, but still knew where the fuck we was going, and it won't no way on God's green earth our fast asses would have left anywhere with no 23-year-old. But he lied about his age. According to her, he was telling her that he was 18, and back then in 2001, he looked 18. Possible. Possible. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I get it. So Jessica talks about first meeting Charmaine down at the damn radio station down to South Kakalaka. All right, so this was way before he became what we all know him to be now. And she talked about how she felt uncomfortable around him even when first meeting him. Even when she went down to the studio, how he would always try to include her in conversations and so on and so forth. And she just felt uncomfortable about it. And I could understand it by her being 15, and he's obviously older than her. So it's like, why are you trying to be so nice and da 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 and so and so and so, and it's funny because a lot of young girls start like that back back in my days. I'm 34. So, back then a lot of people would think that, oh, it's fast ass girls, and not really. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of my homegirls was like, if you don't get your old ass the hell out of my face, like, that's the way that they would carry dudes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about the old perverted 50-year-old ones. I'm talking about the ones that's like 30 something, mid 20s or something. Like, you too old for me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. Jessica, I will say this. You have a really strong woman's intuition about yourself, and you just didn't listen to it, unfortunately. But you have a really, 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 really strong sense of knowing when things aren't right. I will say that. I wish you would have listened to yourself. But I get it. You're 15, you're young. You go against the grain because that's just what we do as 15-year-old girls. You did not expect to get invited to a pool party by this man down to a villa. You didn't expect, like, even when she talked about that, she talked about how, he invited her to a pool party for his birthday. And, she kept telling him no, she didn't want to go. She didn't, want to be around him like that, blah, 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 blah. And he do what most narcissistic dudes do, which is, oh, come on, man. I think of you was like my little sister, bro. Like, you got to be there. Like, and it's creepy because when I was growing up, that's how a lot of older guys would talk to my female best friend now. And my former friend, the older guys that was in their 20s and stuff, like mid to late 20s and stuff, that's the type of shit that they would do to them. You know what I'm saying? But then they would tell me later on down the line how they'll try to do this or do that and so and so and so. So it's like, what she's saying, I totally believe it because I've seen it. I know how the game goes. You know what I mean? And so she was like, all right, cool, I'll go. But she won't go by herself. Smart girl. So she wound up going where her brother's girlfriend at the time, who was 18, named Malika. So she talked about how they got picked up. First of all, they get in a car. They get into the SUV with a whole bunch of damn niggas. And she was talking about then how she felt uncomfortable and how it was just way too many men, and that she was surrounded by, but she went on ahead and went anyway to only get down to the birthday party. She talked about there was no birthday balloons, there was no confetti, there was no streamers, there was no cake, there was no birthday cards, there was no clowns, there was no candles. There was no happy birthday signs. There was no sprinkles, no glitter. There was no signs of a birthday party. But y'all want to know what was there? A house full of niggas with 4 girls. 2 girls was already there. The other 2 was her and her brother's girlfriend at the time, Malika. a house full of niggas and and four girls. Even with Malika, and Jessica, I feel you, baby. When you said that she was 18 at the time, she's a new mom. She was always stuck in the house. She just wanted to go off and have a good time. I totally understand it. But it is kind of like, even with that, it's just like to be honest, even at that age, I would have felt the same way Jessica did. Like I think like I probably would have felt more better if there was a clusterfuck of a mixture of guys and girls. But whenever you just go to an unmarked villa way outside the town somewhere, house full of goddamn niggas and four girls, one of them young as hell, like. So she talks about how Charmaine was fixing everybody drinks and whatever the case may be. And he fixed Malika's drink and he fixed her drink. So, girl, Malika took her drink. Malika was like, bitch, let's be going ahead and get this party started. I'll be at home all day. He'd be leaving me at home all day with this screaming ass baby. I'm washing bottles and dishes and shitty ass drawers all day. Like, this is probably the only time she ever really got out and had a real good time. So she was ready to take the cup. It didn't give a good hot damn what was in it. So long as it got her fucked up, she wanted it. But Jessica, on the other hand, she's a 15-year-old. She never drunk before. So of course she's like, nah, nigga, I'm all right. Like, I don't want no drink. I'm good. You got water? Bring me some water. I don't want and don't bring it in no glass, bitch. All right. I want matter of fact, just take me to the water. I get it my damn self. Like, that's the way that I be handling it. But of course, like true narcissists, he do what they always do. Oh, come on, please. You in good hands. You in capable hands. Come on. Look, I fixed her drink. Like, come on, she good. She on her second cup. Like, everybody drinking. Ma, come on, man. Come on. Y'all know how dudes do. So that's what happened or whatever. So then she says she noticed that Malika started just throwing up. Just straight up throwing up. And she was acting wobbly, kind of lethargic, like how you would be, if somebody's slipping, Spanish flies in your drink, allegedly. And because she started throwing up and getting, whatever, that caused her to stop drinking. But by that point, she had enough of it in her system to where she started feeling sick. And she talked about how she just wanted to go to the bathroom. She felt like if she went to the bathroom, just her, you know what I'm saying, she could like get over it on her own. But when she tried to get up, she collapsed. She couldn't move. She couldn't move her legs. She was paralyzed basically. And these two dudes, what's their name? Because they was doxing everybody up here on this thing, girl. What's it? Larry and Boo. Anybody around there that still live around there, South Kakalaka, that know this woman, and y'all know Larry and Boo, that know Charmaine ass. Yeah. She talked about how Larry and Boo called themselves helping her upstairs to the bathroom, but then when they was up there trying to help her up, they was caressing all on her pretty tickle bitties, and how one of the guys was fingering her cooch and all that other stuff. And remind y'all, she's 15 years old. She's a little ass girl. Probably never had intercourse a day in her life, and they up there just doing the most unspeakable things that they could find to do to this young child. Larry and Boo. Anybody that knows them and they know that they was connected to Charmaine back in 2001 or whatever the case may be. Yeah, them. Anyway, so then she talked about how they was just coming back and forth in the bathroom, and then I think she said Larry came in the bathroom and picked her up, and no, she said Charmaine came in there in the bathroom and picked her up off the bathroom floor and threw her on the bed. And then he left. And then the guy, Larry, came back in the room and like was rubbing his genitals up against her or whatever the case may be. And she couldn't scream. The only thing that she could do was roll over. And she did. She said she rolled over and she fell on the floor. And that made him like stop, pick her up. She said he picked her up. He put her back on the bed and then he left. Then she said that's when Charmaine ass came back up in there and did the dirty deed. We ain't got to get into it because we know what happened with that. And just the raw emotion that came from this, like she didn't even want to talk or go into any details about what he did to her. Like it like I felt for her, y'all. Like this wasn't coerced, this wasn't fake, this wasn't made up. I don't believe she's clout chasing. Like she seriously traumatized still as a 37-year-old woman. She's still traumatized about what happened to her that night. Like she did not want to go into details about what he did to her at all. I tip my hat off to her for being strong enough to even get up here and say as much as she did say. You know what I'm saying? I feel as though she's brave enough to even do that. And it's just a shame that people used her and used her story to get back at Charmaine. But fine. But we'll get back to it. So one thing that was really interesting to me was when she talked about how when she was able to scream, she started screaming. And that's what made Charmaine get the hell up off of her and leave out the room. And she talked about how she just kept screaming and screaming and screaming, and how, one of the guys threatened her, talked about if she wouldn't stop screaming, he was going to kick her in the head and all of the rest of this stuff. And then she just kept screaming and kept screaming. And I believe, her screaming scared them or whatever. And they just left the house and whatnot. And Malika had to help her put her clothes back on. And then, she went outside and there was some other guys that just pulled up in the car, looked at them and felt like they needed some help. They needed to call somebody. They used one of their phones to call Jessica's mom. Her mom called the police. The EMS, the EMTs came around there and, took her to the hospital. And she talked about how they had to give her a rape kit and all of the rest of this stuff. Like, girl, it was horrible. It was horrible. Thank God I've never been through anything like that. I couldn't imagine being 15 going through something like that. And yeah, those rape kits, they are like the worst thing for rape victims. Lord, excuse me. For our people. My bad, YouTube, I ain't mean it. The R kits are like the very worst thing that a lot of R victims want to go through after being, R'd. Yeah, moving on. So like I said in the beginning, the mama fucked up every damn thing for the court because Jessica was willing to testify. She wanted to testify. She wanted to, get her story out because there was no like physical evidence. Like the hospital gave her back the dress that she came in there in. And I was confused by that. This young lady was just R'd. Why would y'all give her back the evidence to take home? That didn't make no sense to me. Like, I feel like a lot of people dropped the ball when it came down to this woman, including her mama. And don't get me wrong, mama, I ain't gonna give you too much, but ma, like, instead of following through and letting her testify, that's what she wanted to do. Nobody made her do it. You decided to send her off back to New York. Like, and I agree with Jessica. Maybe if she was able to testify, maybe things would be different now. Maybe there wouldn't be a Charmaine the damn God. Like, or Charmaine the ever-living lasting goddess to let Kaya and T.S. Madison call him. But whatever. So she talks about how she figured out that Charmaine was still out and about living in the free world. And not only was he living in the free world, he had a platform. She talked about seeing him on the Wendy Williams show. And that triggered her. That triggered her because she thought for all of these years, because she never seen him or heard from him again, she thought that he was locked up. The mama never talked to her no more about it. So she was under the impression that her mom had took care of it. And then to find out years later that everything you thought to be true all of this time and you held on to that, you find out that it's all a lie. Not only is he living his life, he's living his best damn life while you still sitting over here going through the motions, being depressed. being depressed, can't hardly take care of your kids. You're in an abusive relationship with your cheering father. Let's just call it what it is, sis. You was in an emotionally and sometimes physical abusive relationship with your child's father. You're staying in it. You're not speaking up about it. You're depressed every day. More than likely dealing with PPD. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, and she was just going through a lot, and then I felt like that just was the straw that broke the camel back. Because I get it. It's like, how can you sit up and do this to me? I'm still living with this trauma and this pain, but yet you out here, you're living your best life. You're married, you have kids, you living in your nice, cushy house, your nice, comfortable lifestyle. You mixing and mingling with celebrities every day. All of this you get to have, while I get stuck with this, and I didn't even ask for it. I understood her mental and where she was coming from, and if I was her, I probably would have had a psychosis too. Then she said what really made her decide to come out with her story back in 2017, I believe was when she saw the interview that Charmaine did on with DJ Academics. Y'all know I don't like him either. And she talked about how he tried to portray her as some sloppy ass, little ass girl that was a drunk and had no reason to basically be there any damn way, and all the rest of this stuff. And she said when he portrayed her as that, that was what made her say, you know what, nigga, fuck you. I'm no longer going to live through this by myself. If I'm going to continue to live uncomfortably, bitch, I'm going to make you live uncomfortable. And she carried her ass down the Star. I don't know who Star is, but she did a Star interview or whatever. And that's when everything came about. And I believe Tasha said Star, no, not Tasha. I believe Jessica said that Star mentioned that Jessica goes to Tasha K and, give another, untold story or whatever the case may be with Tasha. Then Tasha gained a lot of respect for me when she read when she read Charmaine's wife, Jessica, and Angela Yee fuck ass down to the ground. And I was all down with everything that Tasha K said, because she's right. You two women, especially Jessica. Jessica is Charlamagne's wife. Her name is Jessica. I had no idea. I told y'all there was doxing people left and right up here, child. And I agree with Tasha. For you to sit up here and get up here and admit that he put Spanish flies in your drink, he did it to you, so you don't find nothing wrong with it. You don't feel an ounce bit creepy that you carry the same name of a 15-year-old girl at the time that he did this to. You don't feel no type of ways about laid up next to a man that don't mind getting up here bragging about drugging women, taking them to a damn villa and doing what allegedly whatever the hell he wants to do with them. Allegedly. You can easily sleep next to this man every night knowing that he gets on his platform and brags about stuff like that. And not only does he brags about that, he like to throw fake dildos and dicks and shit all up in men's faces. And you don't find nothing wrong with that. You don't mind being associated and laid up next to Angela Yee. I was all down for what Tasha K said about your fuck ass too, bitch. Y'all already know. I do not like Angela Yee. First of all, I don't like none of them around there. I've been living here for 4 years and my radio never gets turned on to the Breakfast Club. I don't like them. I don't deal with them. All because of Charmaine, DJ Envy, and Angela Yee, but none more than Angela Yee. Because I agree with Tasha. How can you as a woman feel comfortable with being on a platform with a man that don't mind getting up here saying that he uses allegedly Spanish flies and talked about it multiple times? And then you got DJ Envy who just sits there and be complicit. I guess he finds nothing wrong with it, just like he don't find nothing wrong with him throwing fake dicks and dildos and vibrators and anal plugs and anal beads and shit all up in his damn face. You sit up and you gain all type of traction and all type of money and all type of accolades on the back of these other women that constantly get disrespected. Everybody involved trifling. Everybody involved trifling. I feel like if we got R. Kelly in damn jail for this, it's plenty of room for Charmaine ass. And it's plenty of room for Larry and Boo ass too. And it's plenty of room for damn Petey ass too. That's just how I feel. But anyway, girl, that's really all I got. I ain't got no more to give y'all, child, because after that, she talks about working for the Bloom firm, but she don't really know about working for them. And girl, I don't blame her. And then, Tasha starts talking about how, she did the Choke documentary, and Tasha feels like the only reason why Choke decided to do that was to get back at Charmaine. It was never anything genuine for this young lady to get her story across. I didn't see the Choke documentary, and I have no reason to see it. If anybody watched that documentary and y'all feel the same way Tasha K do, please let that be known in the comments section. I'm not going around there to watch it. I already had to sit through this for 3 hours. All right. But if anybody watched that and y'all felt the same way that this really ain't no interview under good measure, this is some get back. Drop down in the comments and let me know, because y'all know I don't know. But then she had her little final say-sos to Charmaine, you know what I'm saying? And then, Tasha K got up and hugged it and all that stuff. And that was the end of the interview. As much as I give Foghorn, this had to be one of the best interviews that I've seen her do, because I really felt like she put herself in this girl's shoes, because she's been there. You know what I'm saying? So for Tasha, I think this was more than an interview for her. Well, it had to have been, because she didn't even put no commercials for real. She put a commercial at the beginning. All right. But she didn't put no ads in it. This was played all the way through. So I believe Tasha's intentions are good. I believe she really does want this young lady to get her voice out. I don't believe this was, like some get back at Charmaine. I believe she's putting herself in this woman's shoes. You know what I'm saying? And she's calling it out for what it is. And if it means that, that if that means calling Charmaine out for what the fuck Charmaine is, then that's just what that's at. So I'm on Tasha's side when it comes to this. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I'm on Tasha's side when it comes to this. I don't believe this is clickbait. I don't believe that this is another Cardi B type of thing. Like, this is a real good interview. So y'all going around there to unwind with Toucan Sam. Unwind with Tasha K and go and look at it, girl. It says exclusive, the untold story of Jessica Reid, girl. It's good. It's good. Tell her I sent y'all. Share, shoot you right. I'm gone. Bye.